Today we are in Matthew chapter 5, looking at verses 38 to 42. Let me just read it briefly for us. Jesus is speaking. He said, "You have heard it said, eye for eye and tooth for tooth. But I tell you, do not resist an evil person. If anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to them the other cheek also. And if anyone wants to sue you and take your shirt, hand your coat over as well. If anyone forces you to go 1 mile, go with them 2 miles. Give to the one who asks you, and do not turn away from the one who wants to borrow from you." This is a really radical teaching of Jesus. This is a series where Jesus is sort of taking Old Testament laws and even talking about what are the things that are built underneath them. And here he's talking about the Old Testament idea of retaliation, which many of us might have a problem with in the first place. When we read the Old Testament law, there was this idea of, as we see that Jesus quotes, that if someone takes your eye, you can take their eye. If someone takes your tooth, you can take their tooth. It was this sort of equivalent justice. And we may think, well, that doesn't seem right? Revenge is not a good idea. However, back in the time of Moses, when the people of Israel were coming into nationhood, this was a radical change. Back then, in other societies, there were often no limits to what you can do. So, for example, if someone punched you in the mouth and knocked out one of your teeth, you could then go and slaughter their whole family, right? That's not sort of equal retaliation. And so in Moses' day, this idea of an eye for an eye or a tooth for a tooth is actually limiting what you can do. It was a massive cultural transformation that was being offered, saying actually this idea of your anger and your revenge is limited. You can't sort of just exact whatever sort of vengeance that you want. You can only do that in a limited capacity. And that was a revolutionary idea back in the day. But Jesus takes this idea to another level entirely, when he says that if someone hits you, you don't retaliate. You just turn the other cheek. And some people think that this is sort of a passage that talks about the absolute absence of violence, that you are to roll over and just let anyone do whatever they want to you. But that's not sort of what's implied here. The turning of the other cheek, so someone hits you on one cheek and you turn the other cheek, is actually sort of a gesture that is letting people know of the evil that they've done to you. It's not simply this idea of rolling over and letting anyone have their way with you, but this idea that by turning the other cheek, you are letting that person know the injustice that they have done. It's to cause them to pause and reflect and think about the evil that they are doing to you. This transformative sort of response. So rather than retaliating, we do an action that causes them to rethink what they're doing. And you can see this in the other examples that Jesus gives as well. When he says, if anyone wants to take you and sue your shirt, give them your coat as well. If someone forces you to go a mile with them, go 2 miles. These ideas are pictures of things that we do that are totally unexpected. Someone is demanding something from you, but instead of just simply rolling over and letting them have it, or exacting justice for this wrong that's being done to you, you actually go above and beyond and provide for them even more than they have given or are demanding from you. That these acts will cause that person to pause and think about what it is that they're doing. And the kind of person that would respond that way. What is it about you? I force you to go 1 mile, but you're voluntarily going 2? What is it about you? And these sort of acts of taking this really dramatic stand actually cause people, and we've seen this over time, to change their ways. Most notably in the 60s in the Civil Rights Movement, when African Americans were being killed and persecuted and thrown into jail and beaten and lynched and all of those things, Martin Luther King Jr. led a group of people to nonviolent justice, a nonviolent action of sitting and just being present. And when someone asked them to do something, they would give them above and beyond. And over a period of time, this caused a shake in American society, where people actually, at first, continued to harm and to be angry, but over a period of time of them continually doing this and putting these actions into practice, caused the whole society to sort of say, wait, what are we doing? Look at the response that these African Americans are doing in the midst of the violence and the wrong we are doing to them, and things started to change. In the same way, this is what Jesus asks of us. Instead of seeking revenge or retaliating or thinking how we can get back at someone else, he's inviting us to go above and beyond of this amazing, giving, generous justice. That by the way that we respond, it will cause people to stop and think about who they are and what they're doing, and want to know what it is about us that would cause us to do just that. So may you and I be people this week who turn the other cheek, who go the extra mile, who give our coat as well, so that people will see and ask questions about who this Jesus is as well.